The Mystery of the Missing Necklace, Chapter 21. Hunt the Necklace. There were certainly some marks in the dust, but not many, for somebody's feet had evidently scuffled about just there. Fatty sat himself down in exactly the same place in which the old man had been. He stared hard at the dust. So did the others. That looks like a letter W, said Fatty, at last, pointing. Then there is a letter half rubbed out, and then that looks like an X. Then all the rest of the letters have been brushed out where people have walked on them. Blow. W something X, said Larry, who was good at crosswords with their missing letters. WAX, it might be that. And then exactly the same thought struck all the find-outers at the same moment. Waxworks, that's what the word was. They stared at one another in the greatest excitement. Waxworks. Were the pearls hidden somewhere in the waxworks hall? It was a very likely place, a place that all the gang knew well, and number 3 had kept looking in at the door that afternoon. He kept peeping in, but he couldn't go and get the pearls because there were too many people there, said Fatty. Golly, we have got the idea now. That's the hiding place in the waxworks hall. Now we have only got to go there and hunt, and we'll find the pearls somewhere. In the cupboard, perhaps, or under a floorboard. Let's go and look for them straight away, said Larry, getting up. Come on. We can't very well under the nose of that red-haired boy, said Fatty. Still, we'll go down to the hall anyway. They set off and soon came to the fair again. There is the red-headed boy over there. He's gone to his tea or something, said Bets, pointing. Has he left the hall empty for once? They hurried to see. There was a badly written notice stuck on the locked door. Gone for tea. Back soon. Ha, said Fatty, his eyes gleaming. This couldn't be better for us. We'll get in at that window, Larry. It's sure to be open still. It was still unfastened, and the children climbed in excitedly, almost tumbling on to the floor in their eagerness to go hunting for the pearls. Behind the curtains, in the cupboards, up the chimney, every place you can think of, said Fatty in a thrilled voice. Go to it, find-outers. Solve the mystery if you can. Then such a hunt began. Every cupboard, every shelf, every nook and cranny in that hall was searched by the bright-eyed find-outers. Buster, eager to help, though without the faintest idea of what they were looking for, scrabbled about too, having a vague hope that it might be rabbits. Fatty even examined the floorboards, but none of them was loose. At last, when it seemed as if every single place had been searched, the 5 children sat down to rest and discuss the matter. I suppose it is here, that necklace, said Daisy. I'm beginning to think it isn't. I feel as if I'm playing Hunt the Thimble, said Bets. Where is the thimble? It must be in some jolly good place, that necklace. Fatty stared at Bets. Bets, he said, supposing we went out of the room and you had to hide a pearl necklace somewhere here, what difficult place would you think of? Bets looked round the hall and considered. Well, Fatty, she said, I've always noticed that when people play Hunt the Thimble, the most difficult hiding places to find are the easiest ones, really. What do you mean? Demanded Pip. Well, said Bets, I remember looking everywhere for the thimble once, and nobody found it. And yet, where do you think it was? On Mother's finger. Fatty was listening hard to Bets. Go on, Bets, he said. Suppose you had to hide that pearl necklace here in this hall, where would you hide it? It would have to be a good place, easy to get, yet one where ordinary people would never dream of looking for a valuable necklace. Bets considered again. Then she gave a little smile. Well, I know where I would put it, she said. Of course I would know, and it would be under the noses of everyone, and yet nobody would notice it. Where? Cried everyone. I'll tell you, said Bets. See, Queen Elizabeth over there, in her grand clothes and jewels, standing, looking so proud and haughty. Well, I would put the pearl necklace around her neck with all the other necklaces. Of course, and nobody would ever guess that among the false Woolworth ones there was a real one. Fatty leapt to his feet. Bets, you're right. I'd got that idea half in my own mind, and now you have said all that. I'm sure you're right. I bet the necklace is there. Clever old Bets. They all ran to the stately wax figure of Queen Elizabeth, whose neck was hung with brilliant necklaces of all kinds. Among them was a double necklace of beautifully graded pearls with a diamond clasp. At least the children felt sure it was a diamond one. Fatty lifted the necklace carefully off the figure's neck, undoing the clasp first. The pearls shone softly. It was clear, even to the children's eyes, that they were not cheap ones bought at a store. They were lovely, really lovely. These must be the missing pearls, said Fatty exultantly. They really must. Golly, we have found them. We have solved that mystery. What will the inspector say? Let's go and ring him up. They climbed out of the window and hurried to their bicycles. Fatty had the wonderful necklace safely in his pocket. He couldn't believe that they really had found it, and in such an easy place, too. But a jolly clever one, said Fatty. To think it was under the eyes of scores of people today, and nobody guessed. It was safer on Queen Elizabeth's neck than anywhere else. Look out, there's Mr. Goon, said Larry. And Inspector Jenks is with him, cried Bets in delight. Shall we tell him? Leave it to me, ordered Fatty. Good evening, Inspector. Come to hunt for the necklace too? Frederick, said the inspector, I believe you were bicycling after the member of the gang called number 3 this afternoon, weren't you? Yes, sir, said Fatty, with Mr. Goon as well, sir. Well, unfortunately, he gave Mr. Goon the slip, said the inspector. Mr. Goon rang me up and I came over because it is imperative that we keep an eye on number 3, if we can, owing to his knowledge of where the pearls are hidden. Did you by any chance see the man after you had got your puncture? No, sir, said Fatty. Haven't set eyes on him. The inspector gave an annoyed exclamation. We must get number 3. We have found out that he is the ringleader, the man we want most of all. And now if he gets those pearls, wherever they are, and clears off, sooner or later these burglaries will start all over again. You'll find it quite easy to start a new gang. Mr. Goon looked very down in the mouth. He also looked hot and tired. He's a clever fellow, sir, he said to the inspector. Very clever. I don't know how he managed to give me the slip, sir. Never mind, Mr. Goon, said Fatty comfortingly. I can tell the inspector where the pearls are, and how you can catch number 3 if you want to. Mr. Goon stared disbelievingly at Fatty. Ha, he said, you make me tired. Talking a lot of Tommy rot. I don't believe a word of it. What do you mean, Frederick? Said the inspector, startled. Fatty drew the pearl necklace out of his pocket. Mr. Goon gasped and his eyes bulged more than ever. The inspector stared in amazement too. He took the pearls from Fatty. All the children crowded round in excitement. Frederick, these are the missing pearls, a double row of the very finest graded pearls. There are, said the inspector. My dear boy, where did you get them? Oh, we played a little game of hunt the thimble with Bets, and she told us where they were, said Fatty, and Mr. Goon gave a disbelieving snort. They were round Queen Elizabeth's neck in the Waxworks Hall, Inspector, a very clever place, and Betty thought of it. Certainly, a very clever place, said the inspector, and a very clever thought of yours, little Bets, if I may say so, he said, turning to the delighted little girl. They must have been shining there under the noses of hundreds of people today, and nobody so much as guessed. But now, Frederick, how do you propose that we lay hands on number 3? Well, sir, he knows that the pearls were hidden in the Waxworks Hall, said Fatty, and maybe knows too that they were on Queen Elizabeth's neck. So, he is bound to go back for them, sir, when everyone has gone and the hall is dark and empty. Oh, sir, could I come and hide in the hall tonight when you do your sport of arresting? No, said the inspector, I'm afraid not. I'll have 3 men posted here. See to that straight away, please, Goon. I'm sure we can congratulate the find outers on solving our problems for us in such a praiseworthy way. Don't you think so, Goon? Goon murmured something that sounded suspiciously like gah. What did you say, Goon? Said the inspector. You are agreeing with me, I imagine. Yes, sir, said Goon hurriedly and turned a familiar purple. I'll get the men now, sir. And now to think we have got to help with our packing and go back to school, said Pip in disgust. After all our fine detective work, we have got to go and learn the chief rivers of the world and the date when Queen Elizabeth came to the throne and how much wheat Canada grows and never mind. We'll have another mystery to solve next halls, said Bets happily. Won't we, Fatty? Fatty grinned at her. I hope so, little Bets, he said. I really do hope so. I hope so too. It would be most disappointing if they didn't. We have come to the end of the mystery of the missing necklace. I hope you all enjoyed listening to the story. Look out for the next mystery, the mystery of the burnt cottage. Thank you.